G'day guys, welcome back to the Aussie Gooner channel, and yes, you can see it. Spade of spade settings. Spade of spade settings, and guess what? Bukayo Saka injured at Crystal Palace. And yes, we're in trouble. Why are we in trouble? Squad depth. Can you believe it? Squad depth is the issue at Arsenal. Transfer window comes and goes, this and that. We get Moreno, we get Calafiori, we do nothing up front. Bukayo Saka, game after game, has been the saviour for Arsenal. He has been the star boy. He has been the most important player, bar none, at Arsenal. And here we are today discussing a long-term injury. Hamstring, an issue that he's been having most of this season. Everyone's been aware of this. Mikel Arteta's been aware of this. And unfortunately, due to squad depth issues, due to so many games continuously relying on Bukayo Saka to perform, he's picked up a knock. And let's be honest, this particular hamstring issue could be 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. Now, the problem here is, what do Arsenal do from here? The current shape and form that Arsenal play in is very consistent of going down the right with a link-up play with Odegaard. Where do we go from here? My problem is, I'm so used to seeing us venture down the right-hand side and link-up play with Odegaard, stretching out defenders, that now I'm clutching at straws, trying to figure out how we're going to go. Gabriel Martinelli always plays on the left. He played well on the right-hand side. But is this the only option? I don't know. I'm a bit worried. In Liverpool, I've got their games in hand, or game in hand. 6 points adrift, could be 9. They get that Leicester City win, could be 9. Spade of spade, is the season over? Do we go into the transfer market? There's a lot of different things we've got to think about here. The transfer market is about to open up. Doors opening. Is the wallet, the Kroenke wallet, going to open? I don't know. Because it needs to. Real quick, we got some people in the building. Strasbourg Steve, missed you, Steve. Big up. Send me the link if you want. I'll join you in a minute. Yeah, might do, bro. Might do. Defo, man, it's been too long, Strasbourg. Smash the likes, yo. Please, if you don't mind, smack them likes up. You saw the poll? You saw the poll, guys. Show me some love if you could. BX Gunner in the building. Greetings to everyone. Big up, BX Gunner. And look, Merry Christmas to everyone in 20 minutes in Australia. Merry Christmas Eve to everyone else. Strasbourg Steve, Merry Christmas to everyone celebrating. DWTT in the building. Hello. How you doing, my bro? Watching your show this afternoon. Hectic show, man. Had a bit of love with that. Sorry. Nelly Kane, g'day, mate. It's been a while. It's been too long. It's been ages. I've been here, there, and everywhere. And to be honest, look, Arsenal have really been on my mind, been keeping me going. You know what I mean? Merry Christmas. That's it. Strasbourg Steve. Arsenal got to go. Kuba, Real Sociedad, in my opinion. Similar skill set to Saka, can dribble and pass, shoot, etc. It's a chance. It's talks. This is where we're going with this transfer window. DWTT, yeah, dude. What I'm going to do is give me a sec. I'll shoot you both out the link. All right? Just give me a sec. I'm just going to jump in right now. Everyone's sort of on with me at the moment. Guys, look. The situation at Arsenal at the moment is a bit dire, in my opinion. With lack of squad depth on the right-hand side especially, we got to break it down. At the moment, when it comes to wing, we've got Trossard, we've got Martinelli, we've got Bukayo Saka, we've got Jesus who can play on the wing, but he's useless. And that is it. Squad depth is a massive issue. And I think right now, questions need to be asked. What is the plan B, if there is one? And if there isn't, are we going to take the transfer window coming up seriously? Because if we don't, this could mean season over for Arsenal. FA Cup, Carabao Cup, whatever it may be, Cup, is where we're going to have to emphasize. The next few games coming up, the next few fixtures coming up aren't easy. They aren't breezy. Ain't no easy games in the Premier League. And I believe that at the moment, Arsenal are in dire straits. And they only have themselves to blame. We had our opportunities. And we didn't strengthen the squad when it meant attacking players, wingers, and strikers. Hell, we all know what happened to us when Martin Odegaard was injured. We had massive issues in the midfield. Ethan Nwaneri was used here and there. He wasn't used to his full potential or enough. There was trust issues from Mikel Arteta when it came to that young man. But if there are trust issues if there are trust issues when we're looking at the bench, right, then one would believe that we would strengthen in a fashion that when a player does get injured, we've got a player to come in that we do trust. Now, when we look at the wing, who do we have? What, Reece Nelson? Huh? No. Who do we have? We don't have much. We have Gabriel Martinelli, who played well on the right-hand side. Of course, he's right-footed against Crystal Palace. We're going to have to shift him over, in my opinion. Leandro Trossard on the left. But what happens if either or get injured after this? There are a lot of games to be played, guys. A few games to be coming up for Arsenal. The next few fixtures, they're not fun. Hey, look. Merry Christmas. Check out the ticker on the bottom. Read with me. Look at the fixtures, guys. These are not fun fixtures. These are not walk in the park fixtures. Spurs and Villa around the corner. Dinamo Zagreb, Champions League. This is all in the next month. These are not very easy fixtures. We could say Ipswich, not a problem. But Brentford, ladies and gentlemen, Brentford. Who here thinks Brentford is a walk in the park? I don't think so. Brentford at home, very hard nut to crack, right? So this is where I think we need to start moving. And I think Strasbourg Steve's there saying, I think defo Arsenal need to act in January. I believe so too. Definitely. It's a must. Because if we don't, we are in big trouble. Guaranteed big trouble. Strasbourg's back. This transfer window will again show everyone how badly Arsenal do or don't want to chase for titles this season. Well, the previous transfer window showed us a fair bit. We were left very slim. And yeah, I think that's a fact right there. Because right now, Arsenal's season was already close to being over without some options on the right-hand side. I don't know. I think this Premier League season could go in the bin, and only because we're one-dimensional. AFC always. Arsenal have to look at themselves for the Saka injury. Overplayed him. Not taken off in games that we had won. Played him in the League Cup games where he didn't need to. Used too often, right? But only because we haven't got another option. So this is where we've got a winner on the right-hand side. That's great. Alexis Sanchez was our winner on the left-hand side back in the day. Overplayed. Same thing now, Bukayo Saka. We've always been one-dimensional wingers. We need to be able to go down both sides somewhat fluently. I don't expect us to have another Bukayo Saka on the left, but we need to have somebody who can at least do the business. Strasbourg Steve, Sterling clearly isn't rated by Arteta. I don't know why the hell you guys bought him. We bought him in. It was in my opinion, the Sterling signing was damage control settings. We needed to have some squad depth, and we went for Sterling. Sterling is injured at the moment, so not even an option. Why did we go for him? We had to. Mikel Arteta ran after Moreno for so long that he didn't have enough time to do much more, maybe, or he threw too much money at Moreno and didn't have enough money left over to do anything else. In my opinion, when it comes to midfielders and Arsenal, when it comes to signing quality midfielders, we did well with Declan Rice, somewhat well with Partey. But Fabio Vieira and Moreno were two dead signings for Arsenal, and they're going to cost us. We haven't bought any decent players when it comes to our attacking third. Football Capital, Merry Christmas, brother. Merry Christmas, bro. Merry Christmas, man. Much love, man. You know what I'm doing, man. You know what I'm doing right now. Strasbourg Steve, you also got to include Arsenal v Newcastle in the Carabao Cup first leg semi-final and immediately after the FA Cup game home to Manchester United. Yeah. It's not fun. It's not fun. It's a situation that we are in at the moment, and we have no one else to blame but ourselves. Plain and simple. No one else. We need David Dein ASAP. We needed him years ago. Years ago. Arsenal have been naked without him. The guidance of David Dein was beyond. Lower class, bro. Off topic. Do you follow AFL NRL teams? Nah, man. Used to watch NRL from time to time. Not anymore, man. Not anymore. Sorry, dude. Sorry. Obviously, I'm thinking you must be an Aussie, man. You got to be one of mine. This is what happens when you don't have a proper transfer window. Your squad isn't equipped to deal with the injuries or suspensions. Exactly. There are so many intricacies in a season. A lot of different things are happening at a lot of different times, right? And if we're not ready, in my opinion, right, to go through and strengthen our squad, right, to an extent that's going to allow us to be competitive, then we deserve everything that we get now. Now, look, moving on, look, let's think about this and break it down for what it is. Arsenal right now, presently, are in a situation that it could mean the end of their season. In my opinion, it could be, see you later, nice knowing you, thanks for all the laughs. Do we go for a plan B? And our plan B simply is, look, let's call it what it is. It's Martinelli on the right. It's Leandro Trossard on the left. And it's Jesus, and I hate to say it, Kai Havertz as our depth down the middle. Is that going to be enough for us to go through the season for 2 more months? Because I reckon that he won't be back January. It'll be early Feb. Is that going to be enough for us to stay competitive for the next 2 months to be able to go again in February? And we all know what it's like. Well, we all know what happens to a winger when he pulls up lame on a hamstring. They don't come back at full pace. I mean, look at Theo Walcott. He lost a yard every single time. So we're not going to get back to Bukayo Saka that we lost. We might get a slightly more cautious Bukayo Saka, a slower Bukayo Saka, and that's worrying. So the transfer window is open, right? It's coming. It's around the corner. What are we going to do in this transfer window? Who are we looking at? Look, there's been a lot of links out there. Quite a few, right? And look, if we're going to go through and look at these links, we can discuss some players. Guys, give me 1 sec. I am going to invite a few of my friends to jump on as well. DWTT, I got you in a second, man. I'm just going to throw you a link. Bear with me. Let me just copy that. I'm just going to throw it into the Armory chat, my guy. Check it out, yeah? Boom, bam. DWTT, check out the Armory chat. You'll see the link in there, yeah? Strasbourg Steve, you got your link. You got your link on Instagram. I'm talking about players that have been reported that could be coming to Arsenal, yeah? And at the moment, what seems to be the big chit chat and this and that is, I hate to say it, it's out of favor. I mean, don't get me wrong, not out of favor, but you know, desperate times this measures Barcelona and Dani Olmo. Now, look, the only reason he's playing at the moment, okay, is because Barcelona have had a player injured, and due to financial fair play, Olmo was put to the sidelines. But luckily, due to the injury, he was brought back into the squad and, of course, paid those monies to keep him in. Now, I look at Olmo and I think to myself, yeah, okay, desperate times, desperate measures, but what are we going to pay for him? Like, let's be honest. We're not going to get much change from, what, £70 million for a player that hasn't played in the Premier League. Are we thinking Olmo's the right guy? No, I don't know. I don't think that's the guy for me. Mainly because he's not Premier League proven. He can play either wing. He's a young player, fits the profile. But is he going to be the kind of player that is going to, how can I say, is he going to make a difference next season, or is he just a Band-Aid solution? If we went right now for Olmo. Now, I don't believe that it is the best move if we went that way, but there are reports. There are reports, and unfortunately, you know, some of the reports aren't the best. Football London are the ones that are making some noise and saying that he could be an option. What do you reckon? Olmo would be on a free transfer. Now, this is the thing. Barcelona would be trying to sell BX Gunner. Let me go there. 1 sec. Olmo would be a free transfer. Not yet. The reason why is he's playing. So because of financial fair play, he's been allowed to play and take the wages of a player who's injured to play in the squad. Barcelona would want a fee for him now. He'd be a free transfer in summer. Right? So right now, we'd have to pay for this guy. It may more than likely cost us nothing in the summer, right? So I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. Let me just go back into these chats. Martinelli needs to step up, and I hope he will, up front or the right wing. Look, Martinelli has needed to step up for pretty much 2 seasons. I am done with Martinelli. He's been afforded way too many opportunities, in my opinion. It's a hamstring, not an ACL. I think he'll be fine. Hamstring injuries, yeah, you come back, but you don't come back flying. You don't. Yeah, he'll be fine, but I don't think it's 4 weeks. I think it's a minimum 6. The ex-gunner says Mbeumo makes sense. Yes. So Olmo might not be the guy. Another name that's out there, maybe, possibly, is Mbeumo. Now, okay. Mbeumo's having a great season. Good story, good for him, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Nah. All right. We all know how important he is to Brentford right now, right? Sitting in 13th or 12th Brentford at the moment. 12th or 13th? Let me have a look at that. Wait, 13th, that's Man United, right? No, they're sitting in 12th. They're sitting ahead of Man United. So, sitting in 12th right now, we have Brentford. Now, let's be perfectly honest. Mbeumo would be a decent player to come over to Arsenal. He's in great form, and he could jump in that right-hand side. But my problem is Mbeumo going to be happy to play on that right-hand side, knowing that when Bukayo Saka comes back, right, he might be benchified. What about that? What do you guys think of that? This manager is a fuck-up not buying cover for Martin and Saka. Facts. Olmo would be a free transfer. Not now. Olmo's a very good player. He's decent. He is. I'm just wondering, is he the guy that takes the left wing full time? Oh, link isn't working. I'm sorry, bro. Give me 1 sec. Sorry, guys. Sorry about this. Copy. Go back to Instagram chats. Try that again. Send that. That should work. Bear with me, Dwtt. I'm going to try it again. Sorry, bro. Sorry, guys. Sorry. My bad. Just doing my thing. Guys. 2 seconds. I hate doing this because I'm shit, right, when it comes to computers. But bear with me. Let me just forward that. Let me just copy that. Let me check it back into the chat. Paste. That should work. My guy. Check that out, Dwtt. Hopefully it does. Just sent that through again. BX Gunner, Mbeumo has been the main man since Tony went MIA. Talisman and dependable, yes. And that's the problem we have here. If Arsenal were to go into the transfer window in January, which is very unlikely, Arsenal are not really renowned for going into a window in January and spending big. But if they had to, and their hands were forced, right, which they are, would they spend the kind of money that would entice Brentford to sell their talisman in Mbeumo in January, knowing that that could cost them a few positions in the league? They are sitting in 12th, right? Second page. Are they going to risk dropping down further in the league for, in my opinion, £75 million? What are you guys thinking? £75 million, I reckon, in Mbeumo. Miss Melina, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Good morning. Here, good evening. Merry Christmas Eve, everybody. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas here in 2 minutes to everyone in Oz. 2 more minutes. So yeah, guys, Mbeumo. I don't know. I just look at this Mbeumo chat and I think, yeah, good player. Will he want to come to Arsenal? Will he want to come to Arsenal knowing that he won't be considered the number one on the right-hand side? Now, a player wants to play football. right? Yes, coming to Arsenal was great. Look at Leandro Trossard. Boom, bam, came to Arsenal. Was he guaranteed? No, he wasn't. And Bain was going to look at that because Trossard was a gun before he came to Arsenal. Still is a decent player. But he hasn't been afforded as many chances as he deserves on the left-hand side, whether it's Gabriel Martinelli. Well, hey, he's been afforded numerous opportunities on that left-hand side, yet he's come up short every time. Now, that's going to be playing on Mbeumo's mind, I believe. Right? So this is a dangerous situation for Arsenal. It's a dangerous situation for Mbeumo too. Dangerous for Arsenal because they're going to have to spend close to 70 to 75 million pounds for him all day. Brentford are going to command that. He's doing very well at the moment. He's a man in form. 17 games, 10 goals, 2 assists, blah, 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 rah, 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 yeah, nah. 25 years old, decent profile. I don't know. BX Gunner says Brentford enter the relegation zone if he leaves. Now that is the problem, BX. Are they ready to fall into that position and hand Mbeumo over to Arsenal, allowing Arsenal to hopefully salvage whatever's left of the season? How's that for a question? Aussie, is Martinelli suffering and we need a player like Aussie? Suffering. I don't get that one. And we need a player like Gyökeres. Oh, look, I agree with you on Gyökeres all day. We need a striker. I believe we need a winger more. Only because, and just correct me if I'm wrong, guys, the reason why I believe we need a winger more is the left-hand side is anemic in my mind, and we always stretch out a team. We like to play down the left or the right, mainly the right. Having the defenders moving constantly, shifting and stretching them, allowing for room in the center. I know Jesus isn't great. I know Kai Havertz isn't great, but I've been screaming for a winger from the start of the season. So Gyökeres, yes, all day, but we do need a left winger, in my opinion. Now, hear me on this. At the moment, Arsenal could play a plan B. Plan B being, get me on this, the plan B being Martinelli playing the right, Trossard on the left, and possibly us looking for a left winger in January and not a right. Now, Martinelli could play the right-hand side all day. If we spend big in the January transfer window, why not spend big, in my opinion, for a player who will be starting next season? Let's fill gaps in January for next season as well. Let's take it seriously. Let's look for the one and only left wing that's going to get us over the line. You know what I mean? And way more on the left-hand side? I don't know. Good question, I think. Dwtt, oops, there's nothing here. Weird. That's strange. That's strange, dude. I'm sending that invite to you, bro. That's weird, man. I'm sorry, bro. I'm literally sending that invite constantly over. Let me try it again. I don't know. No idea, man. No idea, my guy. Let me try something else, DWTT. Let me try something else, man. Let me try this. Where are we? I'm going to try something here for you, man. I'm going to try. Check this out on Instagram, man. Maybe there's something wrong with WhatsApp. Bear with me. And send. So I've just sent that out to you in pretty much on Instagram. Have a look. Miss Molina, a versatile winger would be grand. Oh, wouldn't he be? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Now, this is where we need to start wondering how we're going to move. Are we going to throw money at Mikel Arteta? Or are we just going to sit here right now and go plan B? Or are we looking for a versatile sub? Are we looking for starting line? Are we looking for a versatile substitute? Nico Williams is a player that I rate highly. Will he come to Arsenal? There are links for him going to Manchester United. That would be a player, in my opinion, that could definitely fit our culture, our demographic, our style of play. But does he want Arsenal? There's more talks about him going to Man United than anyone else. And we need cover for Saliba and Gabriel. Well, in my opinion, if you look at Calafiori playing on the left-hand side, he can also play left centre-back. All right. Well, that's his natural position as left centre-back, right? Now, if you look at on the right-hand side, if you look at Urian Timber, he can play right, he can play left, and he can play in the centre-back positions. And 1 second, guys, I'm just going to add someone to the mix. DWTT in the building. How you doing, my guy?
Hello, Steve. How you doing? Everybody in the chat. Hello.
Hope you're doing well, bro.
I'm doing good. Happy. Is it right? Happy. That's right. It's a Christmas Eve to everybody. Happy Christmas Eve to everybody, and happy holidays to those who don't celebrate the day. But yeah, thanks for having me on here,
bro. Anytime, man. Anytime. It's good. It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you.
Good seeing you. Yeah. Glad that you're back doing these shows when you can.
Oh man, look, it's been difficult, man. It's been difficult. Being a little bit away, but watching Arsenal. But right now, at least, what I have is, I don't know, the energy to come back and have a chit chat and this and that about what's going on, man. I mean, look where we are, man. Bukayo Saka injured, dude. Dude, what do we do here, man? What are we gonna do?
I've been saying this since as soon as Erdogan went down, and I was like, well, since we don't have anybody else and where he sounds supposed to be the man, at least the way that you set up your team, he sets up his team. I think he does a lot of prep. And then when it's time to implement that, he gets scared. That's what I think.
You reckon?
Because when where he goes out, I'm sorry, Erdogan gets hurt in the Brighton game, and where he should be the one that comes in, because that's how you left the team. That's how you left the squad in terms of depth. He doesn't use them, and then I think he second guesses himself, doesn't use them again and again and again throughout that entire time when we need a goal and where he needs to come on immediately. Because for me, don't worry about his defense. It sounds like he's going to pick it up, but offensively, I think he's sound for us, and he gives us something none of the other players do. That ball comes out of his feet easy, fast. Doesn't require too much space. He's not really thinking about like, I got to make this touch and then I'll shoot. It just comes out. I mean, we've seen it multiple times, right? So for that reason alone, that's one reason to have him there. But you set your team up, just trust it. I mean, you did all this work to get to this point. Every player that we have on this squad, he is, at least for what I thought, confident, and as you said, trusting in them that they'll get the job done. Then when it's time to actually implement that trust, he second guesses himself and then holds back. And why we need a left back. We've got 2 left backs on the bench. Now we're not going to use it. We're going to just switch things around, weaken our right hand side, all these things, right? Why would you do that when you've set your team up and you have an answer? It might not be the perfect answer, but you have answers, and nonetheless, go with it. I'd rather, play players in their preferred position than play them out of position and go, it's not working. All right. So for me, and I heard you talking, I'm going to go through everything. I heard you talking. We need goals. We need goals. We're creating, even in the games that we're terrible, we're creating opportunities. We just don't have clinical strikers. Trossard's right now the most consistent player when it comes to, striking the ball and putting it on target consistently. Right. Everybody else, a little bit, I don't know. We just finally seen a Jesus we haven't seen in pre-World Cup,
Yeah,
all
day.
That's probably the last time we saw something like that. And Wary, I think, needs more minutes. I think he should get it, right? But otherwise, everybody else, we're like, Martinelli, clinical, not so much. Starting Trossard, I don't think we get that from him when he starts. For me, anyways, I don't feel it. Other people are like, no, he's playing well, and I'm like, yeah, but when I know when he comes off the bench, I'm going to get an angry Trossard, and guess what? I'm going to get with that, a Trossard that puts the ball on the net, on target. When he starts, I feel like he loses some of that. All right.
He loses that energy, that sort of assertiveness. Yeah. So when he gets onto that pitch, he's trying to prove a point to everybody in the stadium, including Mikel Arteta. Like, why didn't I start? Because there could have been 2, not 1, right?
Yeah. No, I just think whatever we do in the January window, I mean, I'd rather get 2 players than 1 player, in the sense that we get 1 player and it bombs, then we're like in trouble. But if we get 2, and there's a name, we don't need to get the big names right now. Not if you can get a big name, perfect. But if you can't, we need better numbers than we have right now. We need more than the one option off the bench, which right now is Trossard if he doesn't start. Martinelli off the bench we've seen it, but I feel like between the two of them, you get probably a 3/4 of the player we want. Right? We don't get the full.
Yeah.
Right?
So, you don't get the full package, right? You don't.
So.
But that's where I'm coming from. See, at the moment, you look at Arsenal. You look at Bukayo Saka being injured. Okay, so he's out of the equation. Right. Arsenal's dynamic is very much linked to Bukayo Saka being on the pitch, stretching out defenders. Now, that's no longer an option. Our left-hand side has been weak for, in my opinion, 2 seasons, including this one. We'll say a season and a half. We're halfway through this season. We're in a position now where our star boy, our right winger, is gone. He's gone for, in my opinion, at least 6 weeks. Right? Hopefully not more than that. Hopefully less. We have an opportunity now to maybe strengthen the left-hand side. Now, you know how Arsenal are with wasting money. I mean, Mikel Arteta loves to waste money. Fabio Vieira, Mikel Moreno, Zinchenko, Tavares. The list goes on and on. I've got a list here. We're not going to go there. But if we are going into this transfer window, and this is where I'm coming from, why don't we go for our main target left winger now? Spend the money and then some now to fill a void that we've had for a year and a half and band-aid the right-hand side. Because we all know that when Bukayo Saka comes back, whoever we bring in to fill that void will now be stuck on the bench, much like Leandro Trossard. Does that make any sense to you?
No, it does. But we need to have rotation, even if Saka's rolling. All right, and I think that everybody's concerned, or everybody's like, no, we cannot bring in a right winger because guess what, Saka's there and he'll never get minutes. And I'm like, we still need rotation, right? I mean, somehow, some way, City was able to, with a Haaland, still bring in an Alvarez, right? Somehow whatever they sold him something, right? Even if it's for a season, you get more money at the end of the day. But I think we were always looking at versatile players anyways. Just because you can play right wing doesn't mean you're not going to get to play, because that's what he wants, right? Outside of like there's few players that's their position. We don't ever see them move, even though I think they can, right? Saka can play anywhere on the pitch. Sometimes he should. Sometimes it gets boring and you can move him around to give him a different view of the game. I feel like sometimes, like we saw, you move him to the right, you move him to the left, pick your, I think let him get another view of the side of the pitch, and maybe that'll open things up for him, because it gets boring doing the same thing on the right-hand side. We know what he's going to do. Nobody can stop it, but we know what he's going to do. But you put him on the left, now that asks questions of the defense, right? We said this.
But
right?
is that not a little bit risky? That'd be like trying to grab Mohamed Salah from the right, putting him on the left.
Yeah. I believe Saka is all right doing that. We saw what happened when we moved Martinelli to the right. Yeah. It opened up doors
right-footed,
for him,
don't forget.
right? It opened up doors for him, right? He was getting stuck in a like a paradox there, just doing the same things over and over again. You put him over to the right, it kind of like, wait a second, this is how it looked, So that's kind of what I feel sometimes. He doesn't have, like, yes, you're not going to put him there all the time, but I think to open up things for the entire team, switch things around a little bit, right? Because we're getting nothing on the left. At some point, we need to somehow figure out how to do this. Remember when Jesus and Martinelli were clicking, right? They would interchange like nobody's business, and I think that would just open up things for us when that's clicking. Martinelli, I don't think is there yet, but we just seen from Jesus that maybe he's clicking again. We'll see, because a lot of times he came off that right wing on that long pass from Erdogan, right, as opposed to right through the middle, and voila.
That's right.
So I kind of feel like,
but the thing is, you have Odegaard as his support. Yeah. Is it that Martinelli is doing a little bit better because the midfielder is now able to go 1-2 with him? And is this an issue that we haven't replaced Granit Xhaka and Declan Rice just isn't fitting the bill?
Yes. Well,
this is a spade. We're talking here. I'm calling it straight.
That is the question. We needed to replace him. We didn't do it. And Declan Rice, what is he? I mean, is he our best 6? Because sometimes Partey looks like our best 6. Is he an 8 that we can get something out offensively? I think he's still working on that part of his game. He's still hesitant. I mean, when he's supposed to make that pass now, he's holding on to it, and the opportunity's lost. And we're like, damn it, there goes a chance to actually move up the pitch, and then we're rotating the ball back, and you're like, we can't do anything. You think about it, you go into these like Everton, you go into these Newcastle games, you're like, we can't get anything. And sometimes we have our best players out there supposedly, but it's not working because I think they're just not either comfortable or the plan is wrong. Pick one. Pick one. Which one is it? Are we out of position, or are we being asked to do things that hold us back? Are we defensive? Are we, as I say, risk averse? Is Arteta so risk averse that guess what? His players cannot even open up and basically take teams apart when they have the opportunity. Right? We don't do that. So it's a combination of so many different things. Player in the right positions. Is our game plan even going to allow us to take advantage when they make a mistake? Right? When a team makes a mistake, we should be jumping all over that. That's what I think. That's what we're seeing from a Liverpool team. All right. They don't get all the chances, but when they do, they take advantage of it. And teams do that against us every day. Every day. Anytime you watch a goal that we've given up, it isn't something we do consistently. It's something that team just got an opening, ran through it, right? Basically screaming their heads off. We got a chance here. And their attention to details always seems to be perfect, right?
I mean, they read our game a little bit too easily.
One opportunity to score on us, right, in that game, and it looked so crisp and clean, and you're like, yes. Did they do it again for the rest of the game? Nah.
That's where a clinical player, a clinical striker, and even a clinical winger who can come in there and take advantage of the half chances or chances that we do create. Comes into play. I mean, Luke here is saying we have to bring in a centre forward, a left wing, and Jesus can play the right wing as of course backup. And yes, we need to do that in Jan if we're actually going to be serious about winning. And I agree with that. But that would be massive amounts of money, and that would be money that we would spend in the summer. We'd spend it in January and then some. Yeah. Now, that would be a big call. I mean, BX Gunner agrees with you, my man. Saka can operate on both sides with equal effect. Yeah. Now, I can understand that argument, but the way I see it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because all you're going to be doing is shifting sort of the strength from the right to the left. Now, don't get me wrong. I know Martinelli is doing quite well on the right, but how will Saka go without any link-up play with Odegaard? Now, that's a gamble. You'd want to play that style of football against a team or play it in a competition that doesn't mean too much to us. Because Bukayo Saka does rely on Odegaard for that link-up. He needs someone who's fluent on the ball. So that's a gamble, in my opinion.
Would it work?
Maybe.
What if he's a little bit more aggressive then, right? What if, guess what? You might not get much support, so you might have to do this all by yourself, young man. And guess what? I think if you're going to give somebody a chance to do it on their own, right now, Saka, a healthy Saka anyways, would be the man to do it, because it sounds like Martinelli needs a little bit of support. All right. It sounds like he needs a little bit of support.
Martinelli needs that 8. And Miss Molina says it right here.
Yeah.
Xhaka was quality for us, and he was. We never replaced him. Declan Rice is a player that could be an 8, but isn't an 8. This is where, again, it comes to horses for courses. And where we are now for Arsenal is Saka injured. We can't reinvent the wheel. We're not going to be doing that in January. We're not going to be changing our complete style of football in January and hoping and praying that it's going to work, in my opinion. I look at the situation at hand and I say, well, there are 3 courses of action. One, we go plan B, and let me know, my guy, if plan B that I think we're going to be playing is the same as what you think. I think Martinelli's going to be on the right, Trossard will be on the left, and Jesus and Kai Havertz are going to be playing in the center if and when they can. I think that would be our plan B. Not very excited about that plan B, but would you agree that would be Mikel Arteta's plan B?
I think that, that is, because that's easy. Anything else is, I think that's the easy choice, right? Because we don't have anything else. But I kind of felt like at some point you're going to have to think a little bit harder, think a little, and we always talk about, can we do something a little bit more inventive, something a little bit more unique that we hadn't seen before, because your players now, hopefully you know your players now, and you might be able to switch things up a little bit, all right, and play them maybe a different style, different way. We've seen it when they've gone two at the top once in a while. We've seen that, so we know that they can switch things up. So yeah, I think if we do the same old with lesser talented players, it's not gonna work, right? Because we're struggling as it is right now to get what we want because we're not as clinical as we like to be, right? So now we're saying we're going to lower down the talent and the quality and do the same thing, and it might work. I don't know. Sometimes you need to create situations and create opportunities for your players a little bit differently because they are not Saka. They are not, they are not Jesus on a good day, right? On a really good day, like we've seen. So he's got that. This is where the coaching part comes in and the management of your players to figure out how are you going to get the best out of them, especially when the other team has an answer, right? The low block is really working today, right? How do we change that up and open things up for us a little bit? Maybe there's a play off the bench. I don't know, in Wary, maybe, until you bring in that other player, right? I saw people talking about FFP, and I think we got money to buy whoever we want.
I think so too. I'd agree with that as well. But I think the Kroenkes might be a little bit standoffish at the fact that Mikel Arteta has spent quite a few P now, and some of it's been wasted. I mean, earlier you heard a little bit of a rant that I went on with just a handful of players that I counted. I can count 2 players in the midfield that aren't playing in the midfield right now that collectively cost us £70 million. One of them is playing for a different team. One of them is sitting on the bench and was overlooked for Kai Havertz. That's 2 players at £70 million that we're not playing in the midfield. Now, I'm pretty sure the Kroenkes would be a little bit reluctant to allow Mikel Arteta another 100, 150 million just to do as he pleases with. That's where I think the argument lies when it comes to how much money the Kroenkes are willing to throw at him. Now, let's be honest. I'll give you some money. I want to know what you got. I want to know what you're going to give me. Lower Class Bomb says Saka is never moving from the right wing. I believe you on that. Arteta has sacrificed the left wing position as a running position with no creativity or responsibility, and it's why Martinelli has suffered in form. Now, I'm going to come in on this one. Martinelli has suffered in form not because of this position changing into a running position. I believe what he's done is he's tried to mimic the left and right wing. So what he's expecting Martinelli to do is to play a similar style of football that Bukayo Saka does, the trickery, the style of football where you can link up, go one-on-one and make a run. Martinelli is a kind of winger that I looked at when I looked at Alexis Sanchez, a kind of guy that if he cuts in early is more effective, cuts in to his right, shoots off his right. Now, we're not playing that style of football on that left side. We're constantly trying to stretch the defense. So I think the style of football that Mikel Arteta is playing doesn't suit Martinelli. And if that's the case, and Mikel Arteta not going to change his style of football, then I think it's a square peg in a round hole. And that means Martinelli has to sit on the bench. And you need to find the right player on the left wing to suit your style if you're not going to change it. That's just my opinion. And I'm not hating Martinelli, but I can't do nothing about that.
Yeah, and I for me, it's, and this is because I look at football a bit differently, just because of the way I think I've been, since I've grown, I haven't grown up with it as much. I feel like for me, Martinelli, it's a mindset thing. Like when he gets that ball off there on the edge and he's off running against a defender, what is he thinking about? Is he really actually thinking? What is he thinking about at that point? And I think it's one of those things where Arteta's got to put the blinders on and tell him to do a couple of things. When you get that ball and you've got space, attack that guy. Attack that guy, beat that guy.
That's what a winger does.
Shoot that ball. But he's not doing that. He's trying to do, as you said, what Saka does. And I'm like, nah, you know what? You're not Saka, and we don't need you to be Saka. When you're running at,
I think he's forced to play that way.
Yeah, and that's so now we're back to this. Arteta, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why? What are you doing? Why? When we might have an answer at right back, why are you putting Partey there? Why?
Sacrificing your midfield to strengthen your defense, but really not strengthening your defense.
You weaken both lines, is my eyes, every time you do something like that, especially when we struggle, right? And we struggle in that game. You're like, where do you want to struggle? Do you want to struggle on the back line where you have support from the center backs, who, in my eyes, can cover for mistakes if they know that's the plan? If Partey's there, they don't feel like they have to do it as much. But if they know, look, it's going to be a youngster there, right? for example, if it's Skelly, then they should know that they're going to have to back him up a little bit more than if it is one of our starters, one of our main players on the left or right side, depending on what we need at the time. So for me, that's on Arteta then, because then you're asking a player once again. You're asking a player to do something he can't do. Right? You're asking Jesus, can you be a clinical striker through the middle? And the answer to that so far has been no. You're asking Jesus.
It hasn't worked very well, unfortunately. He's fallen on his sword, both Arteta and Jesus. He's wearing the number 9, but unfortunately, 9 on the number 9 for him.
Yeah.
I think looking at Arsenal at the moment, our frailties, our lack of squad depth are starting to show now mid-season. And with a key player or the best player we have on the pitch being injured, we now have a lot of Mikel Arteta has a lot of questions to answer. Comment below says, what do we got here? Liverpool got McAllister for 30 million, you know. We need another one of those Odegaard deals. Kubo, right wing. Ooh. Depends on the dollars and cents of it all. But the thing is...
You just said dollars and cents, right? At some point, if you want somebody close to Saka's level, what are you going to have? What are you going to buy? What does that cost?
Exactly.
It's going to cost you.
We're going to be spending some serious coin, right?
Yeah. So we should.
And I'm thinking 50, 60.
Yeah. So why, just do it if you have the opportunity to do it. And you know what? If you have to spend a little bit more because you put yourself in a situation, and like you said, this is where the Cronkies are going to be like, well, you know what you're doing, and he's going to have to say, yes, I know what I'm doing. I think if it was 50 and now it's 60 because of it's in January, then I think you do it. But I think
it's time to, though.
Yeah. This is
you're going to salvage this season. Because I mean, as an Arsenal fan, and both of us, and hopefully many in the chat, except for Munzi over here. Munzi, hope you're doing good. He says, think you have to change your manager to get anywhere. We have a lot of crap at our clubs, and until we're gone, we're going nowhere. Well, that's unfortunately Man United at the moment. You've got a new manager and the same old team. And that's the same old team that has cost many a manager their job and has allowed you guys to shed many a Manchester United tear. Until you guys do a complete cleanup, you guys are going to continuously be behind Bournemouth and behind, unfortunately, Brentford, because those teams are looking a lot stronger than you guys. It's a joke what Man United become. Miss Molina, Rice is better. Oh, look at it. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I was just saying, watching Amarin on the sidelines, you could just see. I feel like we can see it. He's just looking at us, going, "I know you guys told me what you had, what kind of players you had. I know you told me. I know you told me. I know you told me. But damn it, you were so right." You were so.
You know
right.
what? You know what? Sometimes looking just at the pay packet and saying, you know what, it's a win. Going for that bag isn't the right thing to do, man. I know we all move from job to job for a little bit of money, but sometimes you got to look at the conditions. You know what I mean? You're working out in the rain, and you're undercover, and you're working out in the rain, my guy, like Raincoat FC right now. So, unfortunately for Amram, he's got a lot of work to do. And unfortunately for Man United supporters, you're in the third rebuild in the last few years. So luckily Arsenal are still in the same fucking situation as we've been in the last 4 years. Miss Melina says, Rice is better as a 6 off the bench. The other day as an 8, he was good. Play him in a 6 more often. See, Melina, you know what? This is where the argument comes in. Do we go out for that out and out number 8? Is this what's happening in the next transfer window? Rice goes to 6. We get Steve's best midfielder out there in Pereira. He fills in the number 8. And we're going for a left winger, maybe Nico Williams, maybe not, maybe, I don't know. And you can keep Leandro Trossard and maybe Martinelli. Sell Jesus, find me a striker. And Bob's your uncle, James Irani, we're back in business. But I'm talking £240 million in one transfer window. I don't know if that's going to happen. But regardless, the situation as it sits right now is Bukayo Saka is injured. Our plan B, in my opinion, and in your opinion, DWTT. Oh, I just saw Strasbourg Steve. What's going on here? One sec. Let me add him to the stage. Strasbourg Steve in the building, driving. Dangerously doing a show. Dangerously, guys. I do not recommend this shit. I do not recommend this shit, guys. We have one of our co-hosts currently driving a vehicle and doing a show. Can he think straight? Will he kill somebody? My friend, it might be an idea to pull over.
Oh, it's muted. You're
Hold
muted.
on. I'm almost home. I'm
going to remove you when you get home.
Dodgy. Give me like 2 seconds.
Yeah. Done. I'll remove you. All good. Don't recommend that, guys. Do not do that at home. Miss Valina, good to see you guys doing these lives again. Did you like that one? That was live. You saw trucks and shit going past. Oh, my days. Oh, my God. I got to jump on his show, regardless of the safety of the people around me. Stuff the pedestrians. It's all good. It's Arsenal we got to talk about. Munzie, glad you're back, mate. You out great in these lives on YouTube. Mate, honestly, man, I miss the old days of YouTube. I miss some of the characters that we had, including yourself. Good thing is we're still around. It's just, we're not as around as much. But thank you, man. It's good to see you. What have we got here? Omar Marmoush is going to be the next big signing. What do you guys reckon of him? Honestly, I haven't heard of him. This is news for me. DWTT. Heard of this player?
I've heard the name multiple times, and I've heard the name, but no, I don't know much about him.
So I'm just looking in on him now. Egyptian footballer.
13 goals, 7 assists in for Frankfurt.
From Frankfurt.
Yeah, so he's, as far as the stats, it's not going to be easy to get him away. All right. I mean, he's got.
I'm looking. He's 25 years old. He's 25 years old. He's not a small player, and he's in wonderful form. By the look of things, in the Bundesliga, geez, there's 80 million pound.
Yeah, like for me, if you're gonna pay 80, then just pay the 80 in Bucharest.
Yeah,
like if you have to pay 80 to get your man, and if 80 is what Bucharest cost, then you pay the 80. But if if he's not going to go and you still want that, like if you get Marmoush, you're not getting Bucharest. You know what I mean?
No, it's one or the other.
Yeah. So you got to
definitely
make
one
a
or the
decision.
other.
And I think if you make a decision in January, like I said, either you're getting a player like we said that might be okay sitting behind Saka for some of the parts of the season and work in other parts of the field, or you get that player that just takes that left wing spot or takes that center forward spot. I don't think we have the center forward we want, right? I don't know what Kai's position is on this squad.
I don't know. I don't think Kai knew his position at Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think Kai's an anomaly.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
He's not an 8. He's not a 9. I don't know what he does. I don't know where his preferred position is for this team based on what we need. Like once he's one of those players one-on-one with a goalkeeper, I'm just like, well, all right, well, let's see. It's gonna be a goal kick or something like that because it's he doesn't hit the target. So no, Marmoush should be good based on the stats. I just don't see us being able to. Are we going to be able to pull a player like that? We haven't done it
in January. So the thing is, I don't think a centre forward is going to be what we're going to be going for in January. The situation as it sits now, if we were going to move for a centre forward, it would have been before this injury, guys. Mm-hmm. Due to this injury, I don't see us moving for a centre forward. Maybe Lookman, but that's only because that guy can play across the front line. He can sort of play striker, but he plays left wing and right wing pretty well. But you look at his age, 26, 27 years old. And yeah, okay, wasn't the best in the Premier League. Doing well now in the Serie A. I don't think we're going there either, but he is able to play either side. So I honestly believe that we're going to be going for either a left winger or a right winger this season. In January, we are going to make one move. But see, this is where I'm caught. Are we going to be moving on a player like Mbeumo? And if we did move on Mbeumo, right? Feel me on this. Would he be interested in coming to Arsenal knowing that he would be playing second fiddle to Bukayo Saka once he's fit?
Yeah, no, that's why you need somebody on the left wing, because right now on the left wing, there's potential for you to start. So you know what? So the potential for you to start just like I think we're fine on the right in the sense that we have players that aren't doing the job on the left right now, and we've seen them on the right and they've looked okay. But on the left, we've been struggling for how long now? It's been 2 seasons now. We haven't. Everybody's looked at our left wing and said, you get a good run out of Martinelli. He gets injured. Then you get Trossard last season. He finishes on a good run. You're like, all right, so it's going to be a good competition this season. Not so much. Not a competition that's got us to where we're like, we got an answer now. So I think you spend a little extra, get the left wing. He's gonna have to be a starter for you and then push players around after that. Then you get a right wing and you use a stopgap, right? Because then you're back again going, who's gonna fix the problems on the left anyways? We have an answer, like, and this is kind of exactly what we did, right? Arteta was just waiting and waiting and waiting for Ødegaard to come back. All right, he's waiting for Martin to come back. He wasn't really figuring, let me see if I have an answer. Right? He wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
And he should have been trying to. That if you have an opportunity to do it, you just do it. Like I would rather put in Weary and Long with some of our starters to get him, see if he can at least do the role. He's not going to be a captain. He's not going to be leading the press. He's not going to be managing where players are on the pitch. That's where Rice or one of the center backs, somebody has to do it. But I think skill set wise, talent wise, see if he's got that. Can he distribute the ball? Can he put the ball on target now? He's more of a threat, I think, than Ødegaard. People, we were talking about this in the chat, right? He's more of an offensive attack-minded player than Ødegaard, who's more of a facilitator, managing the squad a little bit better. So that's when people compare the two, and I'm like, no, don't do that. They're different. They have different roles on this squad, and that's the same thing. That's the same thing for me in terms of some of the other positions. We know what Martinelli can do. We know what Trossard can do. Play them in their roles they're better for us. They're not starters for us.
They're not good enough to start, in my opinion. I think Martinelli and Ødegaard.
Yeah, not for this team. If we're talking about, like, you come off 2 second-place finishes, and if we were looking at places to improve, we're going to say the same things every time: center forward, left wing,
all day. And it's been a continuous issue season for the last 2 seasons, at least, if not 3 for the center forward situation.
Yeah, and we've had so many injuries in our defense. And is our defense the same level as it was the last 2 years? No, but it doesn't have to be, right? No. It's not gonna. You're not gonna get that year in, year out. They're gonna have some blips, and we're in some blips right now. We're one-offs a game. We're gonna make a mistake, right? We've seen it, and we saw that from the start of the season, right? That Villa game basically showed us that, look, our defense isn't the same. I mean, a different Watkins, and that's a 2-2 game, and we're like, okay, we need to work on our defense. But in reality, I think players not being clinical we're seeing this across the board, right?
Yeah.
So that's not, for me, that's not you got lucky. No, it's just actually part of it's just part of the business. The clinical striking isn't a thing. There isn't much of it going on. When you find it, you hold on to it, right? So for me, and I think I've rambled on here, but go get that left wing, spend extra money if you have to. He's going to be a starter if you're spending the money for it. Or you get that center forward, he's going to be a starter for you. But get somebody who can put the ball on frame. All right, put it on between the sticks. Make the goalkeeper's hands sting. All right, make the goalkeeper think. He's picking corners. He's not kicking it straight at him. All those things that we look for in a clinical striker. Spend the money now. Like, waiting until the summer for me doesn't give us. We're just pushing the problem down the road, and then we're losing out on. Like, I always say we want to win now. We still have an opportunity to win now. Liverpool might slip up. We don't know, but if we don't even play them, it doesn't matter. If we do absolutely nothing and they just continue to do what they're doing, which is they're going to play good, 3 out of 4 games, and when they have a drop, we're not even taking advantage of it because we don't care about it anymore, then guess what? Yeah, you might as well just hand them the trophy. But if you're actually
with a 9-point lead,
if you have some ambitions of getting the squad back, this is, you need a not necessarily a stopgap, but you need an answer, right?
Well, this is an opportunity for Arsenal to do that. Yeah. January is coming around the corner. The left wing is anemic. Olmo is at Barcelona. Barcelona have got issues at the moment with financial fair play. If they don't have any plans to hold on to him for next season, just like we've been talking, it's a chance that he could go for free in summer. Maybe Barcelona at this present time would look at this opportunity and say, look, we could offload Olmo to Arsenal, anywhere between 65 to 70 million pound, cash in on him now. That would be maybe our left wing option. Martinelli could play on the right, and we can pull out our chips on Olmo. The other opportunities are for us to go through and possibly grab a new centre forward, play a makeshift winger setup between Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli till Saka comes back, and go back into the transfer window in summer. But regardless, we go either way, people. I think Arsenal in January, unless they're willing to capitulate, fold, and allow the league to watch the parade go by, need to make at least one move in January. Now, whether that be a number 9, allowing Trossard and Martinelli to be the plan B, and Jesus to an extent, or whether that means an 11, for example, Olmo, to be a key starting player on the left-hand side, pushing Martinelli onto the right for now, and having Martinelli as backup to Saka and/or Olmo, with Leandro Trossard sort of on the outskirts. But either or, I believe Arsenal need to make a move. If they don't, they might as well hand the Premier League title to Liverpool now. It's 6 points adrift with a game in hand that could be 9. If it ends up being 9 without any further players coming in January, I think we can kiss the Premier League competition goodbye for this season. Because by the time Bukayo Saka comes back, it's going to be well and truly too late. This Liverpool team look like a team that are not taking, draws or 50-50 chances. They're going in to get their 3 points and get the hell out of Dodge. And they have got that winning mentality. Mohamed Salah's coming on right now, and he's not mucking around. We can't afford not to go into this January transfer window and spend anywhere between 70 to 80 million pound. And I believe if we're going to be doing that, it better be for a starting line player. I need to, like you've said, need to fill the gaps that we have. If we don't do that, we're in big trouble, in my opinion. Here's a funny one. Ethan, left-sided number 8, would you develop him there? I don't think. I think he's a 10, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I want him shooting, so further up the pitch, if that's what that means, right? I want him shooting right now. You can it's not a time to work on him now, right?
Nah.
Like right now, where we sit right now, no. Just you need a firecracker that comes off the bench. Bring him on. Don't do what we did last time. It's not a like for like switch with Erdogan. No. You bring him on. You go. Guess what?
Different player.
Go do your job, and your job right now is put that ball in the net for me, please. Get that ball to out wide if you have to, but really and truly, the man's looking to shoot. And I kind of like that. We don't have that. So
no, you don't. You don't have that style of number 10. I mean, Odegaard is very much. I don't know, he reminds me a little bit of Özil. He's looking for that perfect pass and not the shot. Right? When sometimes that's what's on. The shot is what's on. And look, Bukayo Saka is guilty of that as well.
Yeah. Now and I say this and I kid and I say this a lot. At some point, Saka, at some point, Erdogan, at some time, Martin, whatever. I say his name wrong. Everybody says it, but at some point, guess what? You're looking for somebody else to do it. Guess what? It's the mirror, man. It's looking back at you going, maybe it's your time, right? Sometimes when Saka's making that pass, you're like, no, you know what? You can do it too, right? You can take that shot. Sometimes, Martin, you're standing at the 18. You're one of our most clinical, strikers of the ball when you put your foot, when you think about it. Put your foot through the thing, right? At some point, you like they compare him to the KDBs, and at once in a while KDB does make that that shot, right? Like late in the game, it's 0-0. We need a goal. Everybody's looking at Haaland. Everybody's looking out wide at the wings. Guess what? It's your time. They're giving you the space. You can create the space. They're giving you the space. You're clinical. We know you're clinical when you put your foot through it. Take the shot. Maybe
take the shot, crack it, try it out.
Yeah.
If you don't give it a whirl, you're never gonna know. I think, look, at the moment with Arsenal, the way we are, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, it's looking like this window now is probably more important than the previous one from where we sit. I believe that if we don't make the right signings as soon as possible, this season for us in the Premier League could be over. I mean, I'm gonna throw the banner up one last time, just so we can get an idea of what we've got coming up. We got Ipswich, Brentford away, and we all know what Brentford are like at home. We got Brighton away, we got Spurs at home, we got Villa at home. That's 5 games in the Premier League. Then we got, and in the same month, we got Dinamo Zagreb and Girona. Now, Dinamo is not going to be the easiest game for Champions League. I'll tell you now, Brentford at home, not our home, their home, over their way, that's going to be difficult. If they're not, like, these next few fixtures, Brentford, Villa, and Spurs, for me, are going to be games where we're really going to be tested without Bukayo Saka. And if we don't make moves early on in the January transfer window, I think it's time for Arsenal to throw their hat out. No, Mars, I'm out. Because to be perfectly honest, we're not going to be able to take on those teams without any reinforcements, at least on the left or right-hand side or up front. Like you said, goals need to be something that we need to either buy or do better at. And at the moment, Arsenal, without Bukayo Saka, we're already anemic on the left. We already had problems on the left-hand side, detrimental to our health, the left. Now, the right-hand side, to be perfectly honest, is going to be much of the same. Unfortunately, I don't like the idea that we go into this January transfer window without buying anyone. But I will tell you guys one thing, that if we do not buy anyone in January, just forget about the Premier League. Don't even waste your time with it anymore. It's done. Just hope for a top 4 finish in Champions League, in my opinion, because that would be all we could muster up if we don't do anything in January. Yeah. And that's just my opinion. I don't think we have a chance in hell without at least one player coming in to solidify our front line. Yeah. Because Jesus in form is a cool story. Kai Havertz is a year whatever. Gabriel Martinelli, I don't want to know anymore. Leandro Trossard is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That's where we stand, guys. And look, to be honest, I'm honestly worried about this Premier League run. The next 5 fixtures for me are make or break. If we don't, we need to get 3 points in every single one of those games. That's where we sit. Arsenal must win every single game. We are 9 points adrift, not 6. In my opinion, Liverpool will beat Leicester. They will beat them, and they will beat them horribly. It's going to be Anthony Mundine versus Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson when he was in his 30s. It's going to be horrible. They're going to get their 3. It's going to be a 9-point gap. And if we do not fill the gap on the right-hand side, left-hand side, or up front, 9 points is going to look really good when we're looking at it in March and it's close to 12, because it's not going to look good for us. Guys, I'm going to leave it right there. DWTT, man, do me a favor, man. Plug your channel, man. Plug your channel. You're here. Please plug your channel.
Yes, everyone. So check it out. Type in DWTT Arsenal. You'll see it should pop up first. Do a show on Saturday mornings, kind of a match days show. We talk about all the games that are going on and a little bit of Arsenal, or we do a watch along if Arsenal's on at the same time. That's about 3 p.m. for you guys in the UK. I believe that is, what is that? 3 p.m. in the UK? What time is that in Australia?
If it's 3 p.m. in the UK, you've got to take 11 off that. So early morning.
Oh yeah, that's an early morning show. So if Arsenal's playing, I'll be there chatting it up. Otherwise, check us out on Mondays. It's 12:30 a.m. for those on the UK, 7:30 p.m. on the East Coast. We're chatting Arsenal pretty much all day. So check us out 2 days a week, Saturday and Monday. Otherwise,
that's awesome.
Scattered around all the different channels. So, check, follow me, and you'll know where I'm at. I was just checking out one thing on Almo. He's played a lot of attacking mid according to Transfer Mark. I don't know how accurate that is. So he hasn't played much left wing in a while. He's played more right wing if anything. So it's kind of one of those things where it might work when he's with Spain when we got all those players there. Because but will it work? I think he's Spanish, right? Do I have that right?
Will it work for Arsenal? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, will it work for
That's the
Arsenal?
thing, is it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Will it work for Arsenal?
That's where we stand, yeah.
Yeah, like Almo might be a good answer, but is it the answer? Like we look like he's attacking mid. What does that
Mm.
mean? Right. So that means which is it? Who is he competing with? Erdogan, right? Or is he going to
He
be?
could be, but if he's... See, Odegaard's a kind of player who can play attacking mid, but he couldn't play a wing.
True.
Right?
True. Yeah.
You look at the kind of player he is, yeah, it's difficult, but links to Olmo. Can he play on the left? Can he play on the right? Yes. Does he play in the 10 a lot more? Bloody oath. But where we are at the moment, slim pickings. Unless we're going to be going for Nico Williams and Mbeumo, who I don't think is going to be a player. If we do get him, there's going to be a massive fight, because what are we going to do? Play him down the middle? That'll be a worry. That'll be a worry. If we buy Mbeumo, say we play the right hand side now, later on you'll play down the middle. And you know what? That's very much Arsenal to do that. I will believe that. Actually, guys, you heard it here first. We are going to sign Mbeumo to play on the right, and then after he's finished, he's going to be our number 9. Heard it here first. It just came to me. Shit. Oh, shit. Guys, the season's over. It was fun while it lasted. Oh, look, guys, if you haven't already, please like the video. If you could, shits and giggles, I'm back having a bit of a laugh with my man Dwtt. Everyone in the chat, thank you very much for joining me. I know it was last minute FC, but you know how I go, here, there, and everywhere. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. Help me get up to that 600. I'm getting close. But look, if I don't see you soon, I'll see you later. It's Merry Christmas to everyone in Australia, and I think it'll be Merry Christmas to everyone else tomorrow. But anyway, look, from the Aussie Gooner,
Merry Christmas.
Thank you for joining me, man. It's Merry Christmas in Uru, guys. Uru.